say enough good about it. Obviously, the stadium was one of the loudest it's ever been. I wish I was there to hear it. Heard it through the television. It did sound like my TV was kind of shaking a little bit. I was worried about it combusting or breaking, but that play right there was the good.
And welcome into Touchdown Live. As always, I am Matthew Travis.
And Jones certainly has a lot of chemistry here with Hereford. Goes to McGinn. McMillon is Smith in the tackle for Alabama.
To the M3 show.
It's not always good for the quarterback on the other side to be talking stuff so early in the game.
Look, I don't have a kid on the way this week, but it's almost time for Alabama football season, baby.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the M3 show. Alabama comes out victorious 37-20 over Tennessee. 2 for 2 in revenge games this year, beating the Volunteers. I called early cigar smoke. We had cigar smoke with about 6 minutes left in the game, and Josh was at the game, getting honored with the 2015 national champion team. So that's where I want to start. Josh, being back in Tuscaloosa, we saw the picture with Coach Saban, with your former teammates. Just talk about the experience and just seeing all of your former teammates back at Saban Field, as it's now known.
It was a great experience. I mean, it just brings back so many memories with being with those guys. I was with Reuben Foster, Reggie Ragland, Ryan Anderson, Jake Coker. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I lost my glasses. I don't have them on now. Kind of had a long night that first night. We were at the Bear Bryant Museum, and got it. We're blessed enough to see Kalen DeBoer, but didn't get a chance to take a picture with him because just too busy catching up with those guys. It was a really, really good time. The game was ecstatic, probably one of the best games ever I've been to within the past 5 years. I mean, from the Xavier Brown touchdown to Pierre getting three sacks. I mean, it was just lights out. I loved how the defense played. So, just overall, it was a great experience. And I really want to thank the Alabama Alumni Association for giving us that celebration. It was awesome.
And my favorite part, the pictures with your kid in the facility. How cool is that? Just walking through and having those moments.
Oh, it was awesome, for my, offspring to be able to come through and see where I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, cries, even a lot of cries. But I mean, it was awesome. Just seeing him being able to run around and meet some of the staff, and it was great for him, and he really enjoyed it. It was really, really fun.
And I wasn't at the game, but from what I've heard, people are saying that Zabian pick, that's the loudest they've ever heard Bryant Denny Stadium. Are your ears still ringing after that pick six?
For sure, like it was the loudest I've heard it in a very, very long time. I remember seeing a tweet. It said that they could hear the stadium roar from like 3 miles away. It was crazy. Like fans were just ecstatic, and it was just the cherry on top going into halftime.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get a welfare check from my neighbors after that pick six. I was a little excited, but kind of going off of that, we hinted at it last week, talking about some of the crazy moments in Bryant Denny Stadium over the years, and I talked about the Javon Diggs scoop and score, which that was like a very similar play. The Missouri when they brought back Dixieland Delight in 2018. But for you guys as players, what are your like most notable memories of like the loudest moments you've heard the stadium get from the field? Mac, I'll start with you.
We were talking about it earlier, but I think I hate saying this game because we lost, but the LSU Alabama game 2019, we had just incorporated or got the new lights, the night lights that were crazy. We're coming out of the tunnel. Night games are already electric. I mean, it's a packed house in Bryant-Denny. And then the second half, making that comeback, I felt like I was also on like personally, like I took, Josh Go-Go juice.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
drank
for
like
sure.
three go-go juices, which are like these like energy. I don't even know what's in them, to be honest. I was just drinking them, and then Josh had some creepy crawlers. And
Oh my
I'm telling
gosh.
you, I was absolutely wired. Like I was on the sidelines cheering so freaking loud that at one point, maybe because all the stuff that I like had drinking before the game and stuff, like the energy stuff, my heart skipped a beat at one point. I was like, "Holy cow!" Uh, but that stadium that night is something I'll never forget. It wasn't like there wasn't like one moment. I mean, that I would say in particular, but just the whole entire night, the atmosphere was the loudest it's ever been for me. That I can remember.
Yeah, that the loudest moment I think from that game was Devontae Smith, the 85-yard touchdown, the first play of the drive, under 2 minutes to go, gave us a little hope. Obviously, it didn't turn out to be, but the stadium was rocking for that. President Trump was at that game when he was introduced. It got loud. Just a lot of
Yeah.
moments from that game. But Josh, for you too, Saturday might have taken the cake. But what are some of the loudest memories you have from your playing days?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I talked about it last week, but it would have to be that Tennessee game where Tennessee came and played at the University of Alabama, and it was like the last play when Ryan Anderson got the sack. Ashawn Robinson picked it off and going down, try to go score a touchdown. Like it was crazy. But there's a great follow up with that. It had to be Jonathan Allen, the Superman sack, pick the ball up and go score a touchdown. Oh my gosh, when I tell you, the whole sideline was going crazy. Like it was just like a crazy play. Like not only did he get the sack, but to pick the ball up, man, it was crazy.
Yeah, and Brian Denny gets a bad rap at times, mostly because I think it's easy to hate on a stadium when, for years, the knock against Alabama fans at least was we don't stay past halftime because we're up 70-0 at halftime, and because of that, the Denny atmosphere I think gets rated down by a lot of people. But for my money, I've been to every SEC school except for Oklahoma, Missouri, and Florida. And when allowed, Bryant Denny is right up there with the best atmospheres in college football. And I would go as far to say is it might be the best atmosphere in college football. I was on the field for LSU, Alabama in 22 when they beat us in overtime. I've been to Kyle Field. I've been to all of them. And a loud Bryant Denny is one of the loudest environments I've ever been to. But I'll get off my rocker on that one. But Josh, talking about the game in general, you mentioned Jan Zapier, 3 sacks, Zabian Brown, his pick six, co-SEC players of the week. How proud were you to be in the stadium and see your defensive boys show out?
I mean, it just felt good. I talk about those guys all year long. Like, hey, we need to step it up. We need to do better. We need to show out in big games. And I felt like, they really put on a show for especially, for this big rivalry that we have against Tennessee. So I felt like they've answered everything across the board. Turnovers, sacking the quarterback. Like, what more can you ask? I know they didn't get the rushing yards under the limit that we always try to kind of reach for, but I mean, when you showcase, a plan like that, and you go out and really execute, you can clean up some of those small things and be able to do better in that area.
Yeah, and Matt, kind of going off the same thing. What was your reaction when you saw Xavier run, avoid that tackle downfield and get into the end zone for the pick six and the first half?
Dude, I was shocked. I was like, first of all, I couldn't believe my eyes, like what was going on. I was like, casually watching, like, all right, like not casually, but I was watching. I was like very tired during the Saturday, and I was watching by myself so I could do a better job of like analyzing the game. And he called it, or and then he started going, and I was like, when he started going, I knew there ain't no way he was getting tackled, and I stood
Yeah, he
there and I
was.
was like, come on, like keep going, and then he broke that last tackle, and then bang right into the end zone. It was electric. It was pretty hype.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I was hoping we got the ball out of half. I was really hoping to see them go down the field and really put that game out of reach. That would have made it 30-7 to start the second half, and I think that would have been really wraps for the game. Wasn't to be three and out right there. Really bad possession right there. Tennessee scores a touchdown. Ty has a fumble. Not exactly his fault, but nobody knew what was going on. Got hit out of his hands, and it happens. But as a whole, still a good game from Ty. 19 for 29, 253 yards and two touchdowns. So Mac, we talk about it every week. He continues to be impressive. This kind of one of his worst games, which is crazy to say because he was
Yeah.
still decent, 253 yards, two touchdowns. But Mac, looking at this game, how do you assess Ty's play on Saturday?
I mean, look, with me, you're never gonna get. I'm not gonna like hyper focus on one individual too hard. Overall, the thing that I keep saying every week, week by week, is resilience. Ability to make plays when it matters and continue, whether it's a bad drive, come out in the second half, bad drive to start. It's coming back and then making it a good drive. You know what I mean? And so his
Yeah.
ability to stay resilient is a solid quarterback was impressive to me. And he played a decent game. I think the offense in general, like I would have loved to see more boom plays, like bigger plays, but they did a good job on like just managing the down and distance. And then um I would say the running backs, I know I'm speaking a little bit past high here, but just want to speak offensively. The running game didn't look as good as I wanted it to. I think it hasn't looked as good as I wanted to all year, but it was decent enough to make it, to give us a balanced offense and to keep, Tennessee guessing and not being able to just stack the box in one way or the other. Um, so overall was impressed with the way he played as I have been the past couple of weeks and hope he continues to play that way.
Yeah, and Josh, last week we were talking a lot about just his resiliency from drive to drive, not letting a bad one affect his next drive, and in fact, being better the next drive. After that fumble, Alabama great on the defensive end, 5 plays, 9 yards, kept him out of field goal range, forced a punt. They put the punt to the 1 yard line, and Ty leads a 99-yard drive. Just your take on Ty's play and what he continues to do week in and week out.
I mean, like we said in previous episodes, like he's being that field general that these guys need. He's going to take these guys to where we need to be. He's going to lead his crew, and that's what you expect from one of your captains on the team. You need someone who's going to live up to that standard, push people, motivate people, get guys going in the right direction, and making impactful plays. And that's just what he's been doing each and every week. Like you said, we got the ball on the 1 yard line, and we even though we had bad plays before then, he brushes them off, shows his resiliency, being able to take on adversity right in the face, and then make big plays. Like, I mean, what more could you ask of a guy? I mean, I'm hearing Heisman. You hear me? Like,
Hey, we were coining it. I think during the ULM game, we were already saying it. Came back after the Florida State game and really started to show out. So we've been on this train, and he's now the Heisman hopeful leader. Best odds to win the Heisman. Alabama now has the second best odds to win a national title. So things definitely swinging in the right direction. We have a lot to get through before we start thinking national title. It's that rat poison that you guys have heard so much about, but definitely swinging in the right direction for Theismann. We're allowed to talk about it. I just hope it's not getting through the halls at Malmore. But another good game from Ty. Good game for Jeremy Bernard, 109 all-purpose yards, 60 receiving on 5 receptions, 49 rushing on 4 carries. Ryan Williams, a solid game. He continues to be on the incline, 5 receptions for 87 yards. So Mac, your receiver boys, what did you think about Jeremy and Ryan?
I mean, I think you have to. Horton also looks great as
Yeah,
well. All of them are contributing, and I love to see. It's like when you have a whole. It's a show. They got three guys who can really play ball, and I like the fact
yeah.
that Ty dishes to each and every one of them. I mean, I think Ryan, like we've talked about, is continuously kind of. He started off a little bit in that slump, and has continuously gained confidence and made big plays, and continues to make big plays. And I'm excited to see what he continues to do. Jeremy Bernard, I love the way he plays. He's physical, he's fast, and there's a difference in a guy who goes out there, catches a football, and runs around with it, tries to get a first down, whatever. You can see he plays with passion. Like that guy wants to win more than other people. And so just his toughness and his ability. I'll go back to I remember another game. Like he had that. It was It was in the red zone a couple games ago, and they handed the ball off to Jeremy Bernard, and it's like that's the guy who I'm going to when we're in the red zone. Um,
Hmm.
but in general, just guys getting open was great, and the Tennessee secondary we really exposed them. And I know that we talked about that. I wish there was more of like a more huge explosive plays, but again, two like 90 plus yards, 90 plus yard drives is pretty damn impressive, and love to see that group really catching stride together.
Yeah, and Jeremy actually the leading rusher. Jam might have been a little forced back after his being put in the concussion protocol at Missouri. Struggled a little bit, 12 carries, 15 yards. Did have a touchdown, but struggled a little bit on Saturday. Didn't impact Alabama, but we're gonna get to that here in a second. We're gonna get into good, bad, and the ugly. We're switching it up a little bit. Last week, Josh and I had the same good, bad, and ugly. So this week, instead of all of us giving three, Mac is going to take the good. I'll take the bad. Josh is going to take the ugly. So, Mac, you're good from Saturday's win over Tennessee.
My good is what I think everyone's good is, and it's Sabian Brown's 99-yard pick six at the end of the half. A critical play. Not only was it a good play on his, and defensively for him to get the interception, but to then take the ball 99 yards and score a touchdown at the end of the half in a huge momentum. I mean, that game was a close game. Tennessee's about to score. You're talking about I think that's, what is that, a 12-point turn right there, 12-point swing,
Yep.
all within one play at the end of the half to give us unbelievable momentum and get the Tide fired up to go into the second half. I mean, can't say enough good about it. Obviously, the stadium was one of the loudest it's ever been. I wish I was there to hear it. Heard it through the television. It did sound like my TV was kind of shaking a little bit. I was worried about it combusting or breaking, but that play right there was the good.
Yeah. For the bad, just the rushing. Alabama struggled on the ground, and I touched on it right there. Part of that was Jam might have been a little rushed back. He probably, maybe, I don't want to speak for anybody. I'm not a medical professional by any means, but might have been a little rushed in. I didn't really need him on Saturday. 12 carries, 15 yards. Alabama as a whole, 32 carries, 120 yards. Did have two touchdowns, but it was a 1 yard rush and a 4 yard rush. So those two touchdowns don't really speak for a whole lot when you zoom out and look at the whole story. But when fully healthy, I'm not concerned about Alabama's rushing attack. Jam is obviously a weapon, one of our best weapons on the offensive side of the ball, but definitely struggled a little bit on Saturday. Josh, what you got for the ugly?
Oh, well, of course, defense couldn't be perfect. They definitely play lights out. But Mac, I did want to add a little bit to that good. Pierre showing up with 3 sacks, and he was also SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Got to give the man his props. Like he really played lights out and really came up big for the Tide. So just wanted to slide that in there. But for the ugly, I mean, these guys giving up over 100, rushing yards. I just don't understand, and I think we're not really dialing in on that. Like it was like 123 yards. It was a long for 44. I mean, we just really need to really play gap integrity and be able to come downhill and really attack those alignments. So definitely something we need to clean up in the future because we have a lot of powerhouses and good rushers coming up later in the season.
Yeah, you said it
Matthew,
right there.
one
Go
thing I
ahead,
want
Mac.
to add to your the bad is like the run game. It's not dependent. I really feel like on the running backs as much as the offensive line.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
and shout out, although it was the bad like the run game, like Daniel Hill, like that's another good. I know we're listing off a lot of goods, but Daniel Hill with that 4 yard touchdown, it was just 4 yards, but I can't like I love seeing him play, and I can't wait to see him continue to get more reps because he seems like a special running back to me.
Yeah.
And he shows up in critical time. Like that,
Yeah.
our touchdown was when Tennessee was kind of trying to make a little comeback there, and he kind of took the gas out of him after
Yeah.
that deal.
He had a
Yeah,
big play against
100%.
Missouri last week. I
Yep.
mean, the guy is showing consistency and showing that he can play in big moments.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, continues to improve and obviously had that clutch touchdown against Missouri on fourth down to salt the game away. So Daniel Hill definitely been a steady force and continues to improve. And one thing we haven't mentioned yet, How about Kalen DeBoer getting fired the hell up? Did you guys see that video of him walking out of the
Walking out the
tunnel,
tunnel. Yeah.
slamming the goalpost? What was your guys' take on that?
I mean, it was something I've never seen before, but you see your coach with that type of intensity, it'll light a fire in your ass. I tell you that. Like it'll make you want to go to war for that guy. So like definitely some great energy for those guys, and you can really see that that team is really coming together. Like everyone is being that fierce competitor, from the head coach all the way down to the players, even the staff around them. Like we want to take the game away from these guys and really dominate our opponent.
I loved it. It kind of reminded me of like that guy who like is not really like the hype guy who then becomes like that hype guy. You get to see
Yeah,
what I'm saying. Like you haven't really seen him get in that mode. He hasn't really been used to like just like hitting stuff, and it kind of made me laugh. I'm like, this is kind of funny, but it's awesome because he's getting fired up. I'm just excited to see him show more and more emotion, and I think we've seen that throughout the season. Is like he's showed more and more emotion each game. He's listened to the fans, people out there, and has been putting more and more into it out there on the field and showing it emotionally,
yeah.
which I love just because it makes you, as a fan, you're like fired up. You're like, I love to see this. This guy wants to win. So I
Yeah.
was when he did that.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
the
fun.
black hoodie superstition like
Yep.
that. He's really rocking it, and like I hope he continues to move on with that moving forward. I mean, forget the t-shirt, keep the black hoodie the whole entire time.
Yeah, it's like the old hoodie Mello. It's like a different person when Mello had the hoodie on. It's Kalen DeBoer with the black hoodie. And
Yeah,
it's crazy because the knock on Kalen DeBoer last year, and obviously it was even louder after the Florida State game, was he didn't show any emotion. So it's
yeah,
crazy that now that video, and it was really cool, Crimson Tide Productions with all the producers and everything giving their shot cues, but just him getting fired up, that for you guys, that had to have, seeing your coach, you guys talked about Coach Cochran, Coach Yeah, firing you guys up and getting you guys hype up, but that has to fire you the hell up, seeing your head coach do something like that and be hyped for a big game.
for sure.
Awesome. And just some parting thoughts. Alabama beats Tennessee 37 to 20. Your overall takeaways from the game, Josh.
I would say, we're still continuing to move in the right direction. Yes, the same coach Kalen DeBoer has said, we haven't played our best game yet. So as long as we're continuing to strive for that perfect game, I think, we're looking good. We're taking steps in the right direction. We're beating teams by more and more points. We're putting good things on film. So I think, it'll be a B rating from this week, offensively, defensively, and special teams, And we just continue. We just need to continue to improve and continue to get better.
Mac, what you
Yeah, I'm
got there?
holding right here in my hand. This is a stogie from 2019, Alabama, Tennessee, at home in Bryant-Denny Stadium that I smoked that day. You can see it's a little bit. It's got a little
It's a
It
little
bit
doesn't look like
age.
you
damage
smoked it
on
too
it.
much.
I hadn't smoked a lot of things at that point and was like, dang, this is a lot. And I was kind of starting to feel a little bit dizzy. But I was inhaling it. I didn't realize you weren't supposed to inhale the cigar smoke at the time. I was inhaling it, but I'll always keep on to this bad boy. Should have started the episode with it, but just had to show.
I need my black and mild, my Newport.
It's a keepsake. But overall, I think the offense, we get better and better in the passing game every single time. More and more wide receivers start to show up, especially Ryan Williams. Although he didn't have like the kind of show off game or the big, massive plays, he showed up when it mattered, and that was awesome. Seeing him get the ball in the middle of the field, extend the play, and then seeing Horton show up week after week, as well as Jeremy Bernard. I mean, huge Jeremy Bernard guy. Just like
Yeah.
love the way he plays, like I said earlier. And Ty Simpson, he's poised. He has a ton of resilience. That's what matters to me, the intangibles, and he shows up with those each and every single week. So the offense, I think, I'd like to see the offensive line do a better job when we're talking about the run game, but also in helping blocking for the pass. Like, I mean, we had too much pressure, a little bit too much pressure there, but overall was pretty pleased with the offense. And then defensively, I think Josh mentioned it. Like, we just got to be able to stop the run. every single week it comes and it's like we need to do a better job. Now overall I'm pleased with like the play, but it just we need to improve there. I have not seen the improvement that I want to see um from the defense there, but the big plays were awesome. Overall, just pumped to see that. The Tennessee game, I was super pumped just to see Josh's pictures and like I don't know, it's awesome because Josh and I obviously played together and that not that season, but getting to see someone who like obviously I played with get to go back and like relive memories and experiences like fired me up. So overall, I was just super excited about that win.
Yeah, for me, the big thing I wanted to see was if we got a lead, holding on to it and improving on it. Because the Missouri game, we let them get back into it, and if it weren't for those two fourth downs, that easily could have turned from a win to a loss. So I
Yeah.
really wanted to see Alabama keep their foot on the pedal, and that's exactly what they did. Beat them by 17, and really. I'm gonna see the good in it, and I liked what I saw for the most part, and just being able to, we talked a lot about it last week. Bad drive, come back out and be able to improve on that and keep the foot on the pedal. So those are my main takeaways. We teased the Reuben Foster interview on Twitter, on social media. Reuben is currently sitting in an airport. He had a delayed flight. We'll have to push that. He will be on the show at some point this season. Want to, of course, ask him. We talked about cigars. Got to ask him about that cigarette post Tennessee game. So we will have Ruben on in the future. I apologize for not having him on this week, but looking forward to getting the chance to talk to him. But looking forward, this is a bit of a Travis Bowl. My younger brother and I both went to Alabama. My older brother went to South Carolina.
Ah,
I was at the game last year. I was at the game, what was that, 2019 in Williams-Brice. I actually got punched in the face in the student section during that game.
oh
That's a story
wow.
for another time. But Alabama hits the road to play South Carolina, a struggling South Carolina team. They're 3-4 on the year. They've lost what, two games in a row to LSU and Oklahoma this past week at home versus Oklahoma, 26-7. They also got killed at home by Vanderbilt. Some common opponents right there with Missouri, who they lost to, and Vanderbilt, who they lost to. Both teams Alabama has beaten. Last year, Alabama beat them 27 to 25. Really struggled to
Yeah.
stop Lenore Sellers, and Dylan Stewart had himself a day at the linebacker position. So, Josh, I want to start there. Dylan Stewart is a force. He came back. There were reports of some of the offers he was getting in the preseason. He's still at South Carolina. Looking at this game, how do you scheme for a linebacker like Dylan Stewart? Not just him, Brian Thomas Jr. has been a force. He's got 4 sacks on the year. Looking at their defense, what is Alabama going to have to do this week against South Carolina?
I think, they're basically going to have to go and do what they've been doing, manage the game, maintain possession of the ball, kind of control the clock and tire out their defense, chip some guys on the edge, have the running back, maybe give them a nudge or two once they're going out for a route, bringing the tight end for like a full, like coverage set. Like we just really need to be able to stretch the football field, make big plays and get that defense really tired. I have full confidence, that these guys have the ability to do it. It's just about, going on the road, playing in a hard environment. People don't really think it's hard to play in South Carolina, but they have a really good stadium, they have a really good fan base, and it can impact the game. It can swing the momentum. So, like you said, we struggled last year. This is that same team. They feel like they had one up on us. So they're going to come and bring out all the tricks. So I think we just need to remain true to ourselves and true to our game, and go out there and fire on all cylinders.
Yeah, Max, same question. What does Alabama need to do? And Josh, you said it right there. Williams-Brice is one of the most underrated environments in college football in general. Sandstorm pregame is one
Yeah.
of the more electric traditions in college football. So, Mac, what is Alabama going to have to do to weather that sandstorm? See what I did
Oh
there?
my gosh, that again. But offensively, I think we have to exploit South Carolina's pass defense. We've been hot, like I said. The receivers are continuously, we're spreading around the ball a lot, and the guys, Ryan Williams, starting to play better and better. So we need to do a good job there. That's going to be a huge kind of like mismatch for us, I feel like. And then still, as well as doing well in the passing game, we need to establish the run just to keep it like when we become one dimensional, that's when Alabama, gets stopped. It hurts us a lot. So we need to also establish the run as much as we possibly can. Control the line of scrimmage, and then on the defense, I would say a little bit of the same. Like we have to put some pressure on Lenore Sellers. He's a great quarterback. He's not had the season that we quite thought he would have, but he's still a threat. And Alabama struggles against quarterbacks like him at different times. So I think do a good job of containing him and putting pressure on him. And then special teams just need to show up and make big plays because I think there will be moments in the game where it's a close game, and special teams is what it comes down to it sometimes. So we need to capitalize on that.
Yeah, and I think we've talked a lot about Alabama's rush defense. It feels like it's a recurring topic on the show. I think this week, if they can contain Lenore Sellers, I think Alabama's rush defense this week is going to have a much better week. South Carolina
Yeah.
doesn't exactly have a dynamic running back. Rasul Faizan has been okay. 64 carries, 281 yards, 3 touchdowns. So Lenore Sellers is a rushing threat. Alabama has problems stopping rushing quarterbacks, but he's been kind of battling something this year. Hasn't exactly been the rushing force he was a season ago. So if Alabama can contain him, I think they'll be able to shut the rush game down better than they have in past games this season. So curious to see kind of how Alabama does on that front. But you said it right there, Mac. I really want to see Jam Miller kind of get back to himself and get the rushing attack going this week because this past week was poor. And when we're playing LSU, who LSU might not be good, but that's besides the point. When you're playing LSU, when you're playing Oklahoma, you're going to need to be dynamic. If your pass game isn't working, you're going to need to rush the ball. And this is maybe somewhat of a get right week before that bye week going into LSU. So I think those are the two big things for me. I want to see Ty continue to do his thing, and I don't see this one being all that close. We'll get to picks here in a second, but I really do think Alabama's going to I said it last week. I think they're gonna kick ass, and I don't think we'll be seeing too many waving towels and hear Sandstorm too much later in the game. But talked about picks right there. I talked a big game last week. I was
You
one
did,
game
Matthew.
behind Mac, two behind
Matthew,
Josh,
Matthew, Matthew.
and it didn't exactly go well. I was 3-6. Mac was 6-3. Josh was 5-4, and because of it, Josh was in first place last week. We are back to a tie. Josh and Mac both 41, 30, and 1. I am a little further behind this week, 37, 34, and 1. A little more ground to make up. I was trying to be too different from you guys going against the fray. And this week we'll see what happens. I don't think I'm going to be picking first too much this week. So let's get into it. Alabama ranked fourth in the nation, an 11.5 point favorite on the road in Columbia, South Carolina. Josh, you picked first all week last week. So Mac, now it's your turn. Alabama, an 11.5 point favorite. What you got?
South Carolina, sandstorm, stadium's electric, the vibe, the atmosphere they got over there. It's going to be kind of crazy. The tide's going to come in. No, F that. Alabama's going to cover the spread, minus an 11.5, hammer the tide, 6 game win streak. They're going to go in there, kick some ass, shut down the sandstorm, as Matthew likes to say. And that's my pick.
Josh?
Uh, Definitely have Alabama for the win, but I don't know about that spread. Like I said, it's a hard environment. I mean, oh fuck it, give me
Yeah,
Alabama
I knew
covering
that
the
was
spread.
coming. I knew that was coming. I called my shot. I said Alabama would win by 17 plus last week. They won by 17. I think Alabama wins by 24 plus this week. I think they kick ass. So that said, obviously going 11 and a half. Really weak slate this week, and there aren't any good non-SEC games. So I had to pick one. I don't know how Washington's not ranked. They're not ranked. They're at home this week hosting ranked 23rd Illinois. Washington, a 4.5 point favorite. I'm going to go with Illinois to cover the 4.5. It's 4.5. Maybe they lose by 3. Mac, what do you say?
My friend from Illinois one time had a dog, and it was a puppy, and that dog was a husky. Give me the Huskies, man. Washington offense has been pretty powerful. I don't think Illinois. I think I picked Illinois a couple times this year, and I think they've screwed me every single time I've picked them. The Illini, the Illinois men, whatever you call them these days. We're going with Washington to cover the spread -4.5.
You just threw me off with your
My
Framingham
mind is in a
dog.
blender right now. What was your pick? Did you say Illinois or Washington? I lost all.
Washington, Washington
Okay.
-4.5. Shout out my
Okay.
buddies Husky.
Um, okay. Illinois they've been pretty inconsistent. They started off really strong early in the season, and it's just like they kind of dropped the ball. So give me Washington. It's not because of Max Dog that's named Illinois that lives in Washington or whatever. But yeah, give me Washington covering that spread.
I said I was going against the fray too much last week, and here I am on an island all by myself with Illinois. Going into SEC play, we're going to pick every SEC game this week. 8th ranked Ole Miss coming off a loss, hitting the road to play the 13th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma, a 4.5 point favorite. Mac, what you got?
Oklahoma's a 4.5 favorite.
They are indeed.
Yeah, give me Ole Miss and Coach Lane Kiffin to cover that spread. Ole Miss plus four and a
Joey
half.
Freshwater.
The Lane Train, Joey Freshwater offense is one of the top in the country. And I think they're going to look for a bounce back W after the Georgia loss.
Josh?
So I want the next pick because I'm not following up behind Matt. I don't want this to be the
Got to do
whole.
it. It's fine. Just take them. Just take 'em.
No,
Just
I
ride the
don't.
wave.
I don't
Just
like
come
it
on into
because
the water.
this is
Just
my
join
this
the
is
thing.
my same thought process. Like they had the big game against Georgia, close win to overtime. Ole Miss came up short. Oklahoma has been looking pretty good. 13th ranked team in the country, but if I know Lane Kiffin, this is his moment to take advantage and keep his name in that playoff. So I'm gonna ride with the Ole Miss. What is it? The Sharks. Give me Ole Miss for covering the spread.
Yeah, I got the Rebs as well. 4.5, same kind of logic. Lose by a field goal, still cover. John Mateer looked horrible against Texas, recovered this past week against South Carolina, but they needed to win that game. If they lost that game, their season is all but over. So I don't think they get up as much as they did this past week coming off the loss to Texas. So I'll take Ole Miss with the points. Next one, unranked matchup, battle of a now fired coach versus a coach who might soon be fired, especially if he loses this game. Auburn at Arkansas. Arkansas on a 2.5 point favorite. So, Josh, you said you didn't want to follow Mac. I'll let you go first on this one.
Give me the Auburn Tigers. I I hate the way I even said that. It kind of threw up in my
Sounded
mouth a
like you
little
were
bit.
happy about
I
it.
You sound
know.
like you're a fan.
I know. I am a fan of Hugh Freeze. Like I will say that I think he's been.
Does his cell phone make the trip back to Auburn after he loses?
Uh,
I don't think he gets that reference.
no, I don't get
Smash
that
his
reference.
cell phone at Ole Miss. Anyway, go ahead,
uh,
Josh.
but yeah, I think I do remember that story now. But yeah, I think Hugh Freeze, he's on the chopping block. He needs something in a win over Arkansas, especially um, since they have a new head coach will really put him in the right position. So give me Auburn Tigers for covering the spread.
Mac.
Yeah, this is a tough one because teams that lose their head coach during season, I feel like take UAB for an example. Shout out to Alex Mortensen. Don't want to
Shout
derail
out to my
things.
guy Alex.
Alex freaking Mortensen, baby, comes in there for UAB and wins that game. Teams that lose their head coach during the season, I feel like come out with freaking fire in the next game, which makes me want to go with Arkansas. But then you got Auburn over there back against the wall. They need this win more than anything. They need it more than water. They need it more than life itself. And I've just felt bad for Auburn this year. Like there are some games where like the refs, I've legit like I don't say this a lot for them. I don't want to say this for them, but the refs have stolen the game from the Auburn Tigers, and it's about time they give it back. So we're gonna get Auburn Tigers to cover the spread.
Interesting. I keep flipping back and forth on this game. Auburn has played well recently. Lost in overtime, obviously, but Arkansas has played well. They lost by 3 at Tennessee. They lost by 3 to fourth-ranked Texas A&M at home, and now they're playing an Auburn team who I don't believe in, but I don't think I believe in Arkansas either. So I'll flip a coin and I'll go with Arkansas since you both went with Auburn. So I'll go Arkansas. You both on Auburn. Next one, game day at Mac's alma mater. I don't know where Mac is going. Looks like he's swatting a fly, but 15th ranked Missouri hitting the road to Nashville to take on the 10th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores, and Diego Pavia coming off a massive win against LSU. Vanderbilt a 2.5 point favorite, and it only feels right to give this one to
Pull
Mac
it.
first.
He's pulling out his Vandy jersey. Go ahead.
Nope, nope, nope. What I'm doing is I'm pulling out a coin. This one's kind of a toss up to me. Right here, you can see a penny, and heads we're going Vanderbilt, tails we're going Missouri. Okay, we don't need the coin, folks. We're going with the Commodores. It was always the Commodores and Diego Pavia. College game day. Vanderbilt first time ranked in the top 10 since like the 1900s, something in there. Like Diego Pavia is still slinging it. You know what I mean? He's slinging that football, and we got to go with the Vanderbilt Commodores to cover here in Nashville, Tennessee. Home field, college game day, the bright lights. I think Pavia is going to come out there and
Yeah. Pavia's gonna
put some
hammer
fire.
them, huh? Yeah.
He's gonna sling that
Sledgehammer.
thing.
So give me Vanderbilt to cover.
Josh.
Oh boy, Mac is hilarious. I'm not a Pavia fan. I do think, he did a really good job against LSU. I was really riding with Brian Kelly. I mean, I hate to say this, but I'm a betting. If I'm betting and I'm putting my money up, I think I have to go with the Commodores covering that spread.
All three of us on the commies. I liked what they did against LSU. I think was I the only no, I think you and I were both on LSU last week, Josh, and we were both very wrong in that regard. Vanderbilt looked good. Diego
Mac
Pavia
had the
looked good.
inside scoop. He knew Pavia was gonna have all them trick plays
No,
and
Mac
scramble
Mac
for.
just has his Vanderbilt tattoo right there, and he can't
Eh.
go against his boys. But
Where's
he
the
was right.
degree? Is it on the wall back there somewhere?
My
No, but he
Vanderbilt
hasn't.
jersey is laying up in my trainer's gym. The one jersey I got from Vanderbilt is in my trainer's gym. I gifted it to him to throw it up there, man, because my trainer came in at a time, had to opt out of the season, wasn't going, things weren't going well, personal life, family, everything you could imagine. But my trainer helped bring me out of the dumps. And so I said,
But
you know what,
once
I'm
a
gonna
commie,
slap this
always
up
a
on the wall.
commie.
Yep, that's right. Anchor down.
All right, next one. Texas, a 6.5 point favorite. The Longhorns ranked 22nd in the nation this week. They hit the road to Stark, Vegas, take on Mississippi State. I'll go with Texas, 6.5 point favorite. They were very bad against Kentucky this past week
Yeah.
on the road. 6.5 point favorite. I'll take them as a touchdown favorite. What you got, Josh?
I mean, Arch Manning hasn't been doing what everyone thought he was going to do in the preseason. But this is Mississippi State. So give me the Texas Longhorns with them covering the spread.
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, Josh mentioned Arch has not been what everyone thought he was going to be this season. I mean, I still think he's a solid quarterback, and he's got a lot of those intangibles that I think uh, I'm blanking so hard right now. Ty Simpson has. But but the thing is, he has a lot of those intangibles, and I think there's so much pressure on Arch beginning the season, so many expectations, and
Yeah.
after he's gotten blasted by the media and other analysts and experts and other people, I think this is the time now. It's like kind of like people aren't talking about Arch Manning every single day, every single week,
Yeah.
and I think this is where he makes his bounce back, has a great game, and I'm going to take the Texas Longhorns.
All right, next
All
one.
right,
The
all right, all
third
right.
ranked Texas A&M Aggies, 2.5 point favorite on the road at 20th ranked LSU Death Valley. If I'm not mistaken, I think since Brian Kelly's been there, LSU's only lost one night game at home. That was,
Mm.
of course, Alabama this past season. But Texas A&M, they looked really, really strong in that first half against, or at least to start the game against Arkansas, and then I think took their foot off the gas. I think they were looking ahead to their trip to Baton Rouge, And for that reason, I'm going to take the Aggies, the 2.5 point favorite. Mac nodding along. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I mean, I went to the Alabama LSU game that we beat them at night recently, and I can see how electric it can be there. But
Yeah.
with that being said, you come out there strong in the first half, you shut them up. It killed a lot of that momentum. And with that being said, Texas A&M's looked pretty dang solid this year, so I'm gonna have to go with the Aggies. Gig 'em.
I didn't like the sound of you saying gig 'em, but Josh, go ahead. What you got?
Look, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Death Valley at a night game,
Sure have.
but when they are playing, I'm from Louisiana, and that sound system
Boozy.
is really going through the roof.
I'm
I
from
mean,
Louisiana.
look, it is a sound like no other. Like you can feel the bass on the field coming from the speakers. Um, but although the Aggies have been playing really well, and I think like Max said, once you come in and you punch them in the mouth, the fans tend to leave, third quarter or fourth quarter early. So give me Aggies pulling out the win and covering the spread.
All three of us on A&M, and I must say I have that song engraved in my head from the sheer amount of Louisiana high school football games I've been to, and they play it about a dozen times at every single high school football game in the state of
Oh yeah,
Louisiana. And you talked about the stands get empty in the second half. I have a picture I'll send you guys. It was pouring last year. I was on the field covering LSU Alabama last year, which was they hyped it up to be a playoff play-in game, and Alabama kicked the hell out of them, and the stands were completely empty in the third quarter. I have a picture I'll send you guys. It's just completely empty. I was
yeah.
getting rained on. It was such an ugly night, but Alabama kicked the hell out of them last year. I see Texas A&M at least winning that game. Our last game, 17th ranked Tennessee after falling on the road in Tuscaloosa, a 9.5 point favorite this week at Kentucky. Kentucky played pretty well against Texas last week. Tennessee in a get right game. They need to keep their playoff hopes alive. They have 2 losses already on the season. I will go with the Vols. Mac nodding along again. Do you agree with me on this one as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, Kentucky maybe looked good against Texas. Is Texas that good? We don't really know. You know what I'm saying? They're not as good as we thought they were entering the season where Matthew Travis had them winning the national championship. They're not that Texas. I hate to break it to everybody. With that being said, Kentucky may have looked good against that Texas, but Tennessee's a good dang ball club. Like they came in there, we had some plays like the pick six for 99 yards. Like that kind of thing right there changed the whole entire momentum of the game. If we didn't have that, game might have been a lot closer. I think Tennessee's got a good football team. I think they're going to kick some ass against Kentucky, get their lick back this week after the tough loss against the Tide, and cover the spread.
Josh?
Well, I've never betted on a Kentucky Wildcat a day in my life, and I'm not going to change anything today. Give me the Vols covering the spread.
So here's the thing. We're guaranteed to have you guys be tied again next week because you guys have the exact same board.
Fine
You
with it.
didn't stray away from anybody. But I have a chance to make up at least 2 games. Well, only 2 games because we were step in step with everything but Illinois and Arkansas. So you guys will be tied for another week. You guys might have texted before we got on
This is not planned.
confirming your picks.
That's the
I
next thing
smell a
I was
little
going.
collusion, but it's okay. If
I
you
don't
guys
want to
want to
collude with
split
this
a
guy.
trophy,
I don't like
if you want
that
to split a
guy.
trophy, it's okay. It's
He's with
okay.
these
Look, we ain't
guys.
splitting no trophy. We didn't do no collusion. We know ball, Matthew, and the rankings show for it, pal. All right. You look at the
Yeah.
rankings, there's 2 people tied at the top, and there's one guy down there, woo, at the bottom. And that, pal, hate to break it to you. Keep fighting, keep climbing. You're gonna get your opportunity one day.
Hey, one of us won a ton of money on Alabama this week. That's all I'll say. It made up for my losings on the other game. That's all I'll say. I said Alabama would win by at least 17, and I put my money where my mouth is and paid off for it. But that's okay.
One of us hammered Alabama and Vanderbilt money line and also came away with a little bit of bread this weekend.
Okay.
Good
I
NFL
didn't bet
week for
anything.
yours truly
I
as
was
well.
too busy being up at the game, so
Well, on that note, that'll do it for another episode of the M3 show. Alabama hits the road this week to play at South Carolina before having a bye. We'll have a guest for you next week. We'll see who it is. You'll have to come back and join us this time next week. That'll do it for another episode. Roll Tide, and we'll see you next week.
Wrote that.